In a word, it's chaos.
You'll have to see it to believe it. Whoever said that must have been talking about Talladega. It's a place where chaos mixes with speed. Where a town turns into a city. And a playoffs weekend becomes a lifetime of memories. It's a tradition like no other. At a track like no other. And after it's all over, you still won't believe it ever happened. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Roll Tide and welcome to this Tuesday edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. This is Roger Hoover. Great to be with you from our Tuscaloosa studios as it's time for Texas Week. The All-State Crossbar Classic is coming up, and we're certainly excited for what's ahead on Saturday. Excited as well about a victory for the Crimson Tide this past Saturday against Middle Tennessee. We'll start going through everything coming up on the show today, thanks to our friends at RJ Young. RJ Young is the official technology solutions provider of Crimson Drive. They've given us a smart board to go really interactively through all the headlines and what's coming up on the show. First of all, Jalen Milroe is the SEC Offensive Player of the Week. The starting quarterback for the Crimson Tide led Alabama to that great win against Middle Tennessee. He'll be our first one-on-one conversation of the week. Then we'll take a look back to the ball game on Saturday with our booth cam highlights. Remember, you can watch the Royal Furniture booth cam throughout every Alabama football game this season on our social media platforms. Then we'll talk to one of our legends of the week, honorary captain Marcell Dareus, one of the heroes of Alabama's win in the national championship game against Texas for the 2009 season. He'll be along to talk about his hit against Colt McCoy as well as his interception against Garrett Gilbert that helped put the game away before halftime. Coach's checklist, we'll hear from the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Nick Saban, and then we will take a look back to last night, Baumhauer's Victory Grill in Vestavia Hills. We had our first edition of Crimson Tide Rewind with Corey Reamer, so be kind. Crimson Tide Rewind returning for Crimson Drive on Tuesdays all throughout the year. Crimson Tide football. It was certainly fun to start the season with a victory again this past week against Middle Tennessee. 56-7 was the final score. Middle Tennessee only with one touchdown in the third quarter. At that point, Alabama had built up a large lead. Now this week, the Crimson Tide hosting the Texas Longhorns for the All-State Crossbar Classic at 6 p.m. Radio coverage on Saturday will start at 3 p.m. as this is a really unique matchup and really one of the most notable home games in Bryant-Denny Stadium history, especially for like a non-conference matchup. And for the Texas Longhorns, they have not been to Tuscaloosa since before there was a Bryant or a Denny, essentially, back in 1902. So great matchup. We look forward to having Texas join the SEC, but great to have them coming up this season here in Tuscaloosa. Taking a look at the Crimson Tide soccer team, the past two matches for Alabama, no goals scored by the Crimson Tide or their opponents. So scoreless draws against Miami at home, and then on Sunday against one of the SoCon's best teams, the Sanford Bulldogs. So Alabama will try and find the back of the net coming up at Hattiesburg at Southern Mississippi, coming up at 4 p.m. on Thursday, and then Sunday, one of the greatest, you talk about great football non-conference matchups, we have it in soccer coming up as well, as North Carolina, currently ranked 4th in the country, one of the absolute powers of the sport, will be here for a match that will be shown on ESPNU at 6 p.m., but certainly hope all of you are at the Alabama Soccer Stadium to enjoy that Alabama match against UNC. Volleyball team keeps winning, off to a 6-0 start this season, and over the weekend in New Orleans played really well at Tulane's Green Wave Invitational. This weekend, much closer to home, they'll be in Birmingham at the UAB Blazer Classic, so best of luck to Rashinda Reed and the Crimson Tide volleyball team. Hopefully more victories to come for Alabama. Men's golf, Nick Dunlap, what a summer. Won the U.S. Amateur a few weeks ago at Cherry Hills, and then he got to go to the old course at St. Andrews with the Walker Cup, and Team USA got the victory. At some point in the next few weeks, we hope to have a great sit-down conversation with Nick Dunlap about his whirlwind summer leading into his sophomore year playing golf for the Crimson Tide, but another great honor for him. Also, the women's golf team, their season has started. It began yesterday in West Lafayette, Indiana at Purdue's Boilermaker Classic, and that event will run through today. Running through Middle Tennessee's defense on Saturday was Jalen Milroe, the quarterback for the Crimson Tide. 2 touchdowns on the ground, 3 through the air, and he joins us as one of our one-on-one conversations with Crimson Tide football players this week. This is Roger Hoover. Now, pleased to be joined by not only the quarterback of the Alabama Crimson Tide, but the SEC Offensive Player of the Week, Jalen Milroe. Jalen, Roll Tide. How'd you feel about your first performance of the year?
Felt great. It feels great to have the season back rolling. Just a long off season with the guys. We had fun. So it was great to, have a lot of success this weekend, and I'm just proud of the offense.
How do you feel like you guys executed the game plan on Saturday?
I thought we did well. It all just came to our preparation throughout the week, meeting with the offensive line, the running backs coming together, quarterbacks, receivers, everyone as a whole. That was a complete win as a whole team, one unit, one heartbeat. So I'm proud of the team.
Of course, you found the end zone 5 times, 3 times through the air, 2 times on the ground. What can you tell us about some of the rushing touchdowns you had, especially walk us through that first touchdown?
It was all a part of the scheme. But number one, I want to applaud the offense. Without them, none of this would have been possible. It was all 10 guys that allowed that play to happen, each play that took place. And then also Coach Reese. Coach Reese trusting me with the football, and everyone on offense just gelling together and just knowing that what's in place for us.
Did you see a lot of good things from the offensive line?
100%. And like I said, their preparation throughout the week is outstanding to me. I think how they approach every day, they're hungry. They want to get better. That's key. I think that's key, just the hunger that each of the guys have, and I love them. They're competing and they're having fun.
What did it mean to you to be back inside Bryant-Denny Stadium, a full house, and we know it's going to be rocking coming up on Saturday?
So that's like one of the reasons you come to college football, just for games like this, and just the environment. The environment level just pushes everyone in the building. You just wake up and you just feel different. It's just a great experience that you have playing in front of our fans, especially. I love our fans, and it's just a great feeling just to wear the crimson.
And, of course, you're going to wear the crimson against the University of Texas. You yourself are a Texas native. You got to be there last year in Austin. What does it mean to you to get to play against the Longhorns?
Honestly, we just know we have a tough opponent ahead of us. It's exciting, and it's just a great challenge for us. We're just trying to take each day 1-0 mentality. Today we're going to focus on Monday, try to get the best, try to get every rep, accomplished, and just be the best version of ourselves.
Jalen Milroe, thank you for joining us. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Alabama racing is back. The NASCAR Cup Series playoffs are returning to Talladega for the Yellowwood 500 on October 1st. Purchase your tickets today and don't miss the chance to enter to win a custom University of Alabama racing helmet signed by head coach Nick Saban. Enter to win at NASCAR's tent in Champions Lane prior to kickoff against Texas this Saturday, September 9th. If you can't make it to the tent, be sure to head to TalladegaSuperspeedway.com to lock in your tickets to see epic playoff racing. And we have a look at that Alabama racing helmet that is autographed by the greatest to ever do it, Nick Saban. Again, he was able to sign this just prior to Hey Coach this past Thursday in Tuscaloosa. But this is just such a cool racing helmet. You got the houndstooth visor all the way around. And again, just that authentic NASCAR feel. You can't get any better than this. And again, with an autograph by the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Nick Saban. Certainly love to see that. What a great addition it would be to anybody's bookshelf or trophy case, especially if you're a NASCAR and Alabama fan like I am. It would be perfect. So again, you'll have the chance to enter to win that coming up at Champions Lane at the NASCAR tent coming up on Saturday, and Champions Lane will be open starting at noon. So again, so many opportunities leading up to kickoff right until 6 p.m. Even we'll be showing some college football games at 11 a.m. on some of the LED video boards. We'll talk more about Champions Lane coming up on Thursday, but go to the NASCAR tent. Make sure you enter to win this Nick Saban signed Alabama racing helmet. Doesn't get much better than that. Also on Saturday, it didn't get much better than welcoming Eli Gold back into the Crimson Tide Sports Network booth after health issues sidelined him for the 2022 season. He came back and he was joined by a new color analyst and former Crimson Tide quarterback Tyler Watts, along with our sideline reporter Christian Miller. What a great first broadcast we had in this past ball game on Saturday, and we always have the booth cam presented by Royal Furniture live and running on our Facebook and YouTube channels for each and every Crimson Tide football game. It's a great experience live, but it's also so much fun to do what we're about to do. Look back at the booth cam highlights to relive some of the great plays for Alabama through the eyes of the radio crew, and that's what we'll do here with our booth cam highlights from Alabama's Week 1 victory against Middle Tennessee.
Reither takes a couple of strides towards the far side of the field. He'll now approach the ball, and we are underway for 2023. An end-over-end kick that sails out of the end zone. McKinstry watches it, takes it on the hop, scooters down the left sideline, and he's all the way across midfield to the 40-yard line.
Well, I tell you what, he's got so many guys bearing down on him, and at the last second, even off of the turf, he's able to keep that focus and concentration and scoop it up and get positive yardage. You gotta have to hold your breath, thinking something bad might happen. but Kool-Aid McKinstry being cool there and doing what he does best.
Now Vadiago stands in with pressure, intercepted by Alabama, intercepted by the Tide's Jalen Key, and he will carry it back to the 40-yard line, and Alabama, up by 2 touchdowns, is back in business. Here's the keeper by Milroe, goes to the right side, dances down the right sideline, and he is in. Touchdown, Alabama, 13 yards on the run by Jalen Milroe. Vadiago under pressure, down he goes. Have a seat. Deontay Lawson with sack number 3 for Alabama.
So Trez Marshall started in the middle, and then at the snap of the ball, Deontay Lawson was on the outside, almost in coverage. He comes with the pressure, confuses the offensive line, and Marshall is able to get over the top, so there's nowhere to go with the football.
3 wide right side, snap to Milroe, steps back, steps up, loads up, looks long, has a man, touchdown, Alabama. Isaiah Bond.
A lot of very strong arm, good wheels by Bonds as well, excellent protection. This is a play that takes time to develop, almost look very similar to the other home run shot that Alabama took. You're able to catch the safety sitting flat on a crosser, and Isaiah Bond works the entire field going across the top and catches it in stride for a touchdown.
Here's the snap. Milroe, straight drop, looks left. He's flushed out of the pocket. He goes. One man loses his footing. A second man goes down. And that opens up running lanes for Milroe. A 25-yard run as he has himself another bank first down. Milroe claps his hands, gets the snap, looks right, throws long, man behind the defense. He's got him. Touchdown, Alabama, Jermaine Burton. You got some juice right there.
I like that. Yeah, you got to like the energy there. Able to overcome a couple of 3rd and long situations here. 2nd and long, 3rd and long on this particular play. You get the one-on-one opportunity to the outside. You're able to take advantage of it. Just a 4-man rush, great protection. Jalen Milroe once again showing off that arm, hitting Burton in stride for the easy touchdown.
Lines up to the left of Milroe, who throws a timing route into the end zone. Touchdown, Alabama!
That was a great throw. That was a great throw from the standpoint of he anticipated where the tight end was going to be. He threw it on time. He threw it probably while the tight end was over the middle of the ball, and he throws it all the way on the deep, almost post route, anticipating what the defense is going to do, drops it right into the breadbasket. Now you look like a quarterback.
Quarterback keeper, running it near side, walking it on in. Touchdown, Alabama. 9 yards. Tyler Buckner, welcome to the Crimson Tide. Defense tightens. Simpson trying to go himself. And he will take with push from the line for a touchdown, Alabama.
Well, Eli, we talked about relaxing and playing, and I think that Jalen Milroe did that tonight.
Yes.
He did not put too much on him, played within himself. He took what the defense gave. He didn't force the ball, which is something we saw last season. So very impressed with his performance here this evening.
Yeah. Richard Young on the handoff. Gets the football, and that is going to do it as he brings it out to the 15-yard line. And here come the coaches out to midfield. They know each other well. Coach Nick Saban and Coach Rick Stockstill, and they'll exchange pleasantries near the midfield logo as Alabama has won this ball game tonight by a final of 56-7.
You'll have to see it to believe it. Whoever said that must have been talking about Talladega. It's a place where chaos mixes with speed, and a playoffs weekend becomes a lifetime of memories. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
So much fun in the booth on Saturday for Alabama against Middle Tennessee, and we'll have the booth cam presented by Royal Furniture up and running this coming Saturday for the All-State Crossbar Classic between Alabama and Texas. Of course, last year the Crimson Tide got a victory in Austin, but prior to last year's meeting on the 40 acres, it was Alabama picking up a win at the Rose Bowl, the BCS National Championship game in 2010. The defensive MVP of that game was Marcell Dareus, and we had a chance to catch up with him as he and Dante Hightower will be honored coming up on Saturday as the honorary captains. So this week, nobody better to be our Alabama Legend of the Week here on Crimson Drive than Marcell Dareus, one of the heroes of Alabama's victory against Texas in the 2010 BCS Championship game. Marcell, roll tide. It's good to see you. Are you excited to get back to campus this weekend?
Oh my God, I'm so excited to get back to campus and roll tide to you too, man. Thanks for having me as well.
Well, we're really pumped you're going to be back here along with Dante Hightower as our two honorary captains this week. I got to start with Dante. Can you believe he's now got a son being recruited by Alabama and committed to the Crimson Tide?
I mean, I can't believe it. I didn't even know he had a son that damn old. I mean, I'm so surprised. I'm excited. I'm excited he has the opportunity. I mean, it's an honor to be going to his dad's alma mater. It's badass. I can't wait to meet him.
Oh, it's really exciting. Let's go back just a little bit. You got to be part of that great run that got the Alabama dynasty under Coach Saban started. When did you kind of see this program start to turn the corner as you guys built towards that championship?
The first year immediately when Coach Saban got there, he set a standard for us, and we all followed the standard, and we believed in it. And we knew if we completely sell out and kind of buy into it, we knew things would turn to the better. And we saw it the first season. We went pretty much undefeated and kind of stumbled at the end, and we finished the second season strong. So we knew and we believed the first year.
Absolutely. And that first year, of course, a loss to Florida in the SEC championship game. I talked with Greg McElroy before. He said you guys were so motivated to play Florida again in that 2009 championship game that after you win that one, Coach Saban really had to remind you guys, hey, the job's not finished yet. Can you kind of take us back to that mindset?
I mean, it was just so livid because Florida has so many weapons and they're going on such a run, and they have the story of Tebow and everything about it just made it so nostalgic. Like, we just come up to it, and we have our first season, and our big competition is Florida. It just kind of gave us high hopes to couldn't wait to see them again. And once we got there and we had fun, and it was a tough game, and we did have to kind of deflate our heads a little bit to kind of understand, the championship is coming up. Like, that was a good win. We did well, but y'all know the real game is coming up. So it was a big deal. It was a big deal.
Absolutely. And then against Texas, you played really well. A couple of really notable plays. Number one, a hit that you had against Colt McCoy that sent him out of the ball game. What do you remember about that play?
I just remember just playing my technique, doing what I was supposed to do, and just trying my best to kind of keep him contained. But when I saw him cut back to me, eyes got wide open, and I just kind of saw opportunity to make a play. And I didn't think he was that hurt, to be honest. And but I felt that it was a pretty strong lick, but I didn't think that he'll be out for the game. But it was a real eye opener to like how we're gonna have to turn this game around, keep it going.
Well, it was also an eye-opener when I looked at the stats for that play. Of course, you were credited with a tackle, but also Corey Reamer, who co-hosts a show with me on Monday nights here in Birmingham. He was also on there. Should he have even been part of that play in the official stats?
Yes. Hell yeah, Corey Reamer got some of that. That's my man. Hell yes. I would never take that from him.
Well, certainly a good moment for Alabama. And like you mentioned, the game kind of changed. Garrett Gilbert comes in at quarterback, and he was trying to make something happen right before halftime. You were in the perfect spot to grab that interception, take it to the house. Just walk us through that play.
Lucky. All I could think about was I kept begging Coach Bo Davis, like, I don't want to go in. There's only 20 minutes left in the game and a half. And he was like, get your ass in there. Excuse my language. But he was like, get your ass in there. And I'm like, all right, okay. But I just want to play my technique again, just playing what Coach saying, playing sound. And I was just luckily let it fall in my hand. And first thing came to mind was, I'm not going down. I'm not going down. And that's all I kept saying to myself. And things just started happening that I didn't even know was capable for me to do. But hey, everything went in my hand. Everything went in my favor. And I know the power of willpower and what you really want to accomplish when you just tell yourself. I mean, it's life changing. It changed my life. That game changed my life in a very short period of time.
Well, you get the football, and then you showed off your throwing arm as well. Once you got to the end zone, did you catch any grief about that penalty?
Oh my God! Again, it's like when we played Florida. Coach Saban had to bring us back to, hey, the game is still going on. the game isn't over. This is just halftime. Like, act like you've been here before. I'm like, okay, coach, okay. He had to slap me and run me back on field because I'm kicking the field goal. on field goal team. It was crazy. But it was a way to stay focused, stay in the game, and like he teaches us how to keep our head in tough times. It's crazy.
Absolutely. And for you being from Birmingham, Huffman High School, to be part of that group that gets Alabama its first national championship since 1992, what did it mean to you then? And even now, as you're years removed from it, how special is that title?
I mean, it means so much to me. I know it means so much to the school. It means so much to Coach Saban because he accomplished something that he really set out to do and did it in a very short period of time with a new group of kids and built relationships that will last a lifetime. It just means the world to me. And like that year, to go back and look at it now, to look at the program now, to look at all these kids now that are following the blueprint that we built, it's just amazing when you buy into something and solely have a group of guys to believe in it. It's amazing to me.
Well, you mentioned it just a moment ago. You're talking about Bo Davis. Now he's on the Texas sideline. Hopefully, you guys will have a chance to reconnect before the ball game.
Yes, of course. I gotta go see Bo Davis. Gotta go holler at him, see what's going on. That's my man. My man loves him to death.
Absolutely. Well, Marcell, as we wrap things up, you got to see the Crimson Tide play against Middle Tennessee last week. Just how strong do you think this defense can be, especially some of your guys on the defensive line?
I've been getting good word that they're nasty now. They're nasty up front. They want to play tough. They want to play hard. They get tougher as the game go on. By looking at them, they look really good. But I can't wait to see them against these Texas boys. I can't wait to see them because Texas is coming with everything. We've stole every recruit they had since that year, since 09. So it's been pretty good. This is one of the biggest games I know we're going to have in a while. I can't wait.
Well, we're fired up. You and Dante will be at the center of it as our honorary captains. Marcell, it's been a blast to reconnect and talk about a great win for the Crimson Tide. I hope everything's going well for you, and we look forward to seeing you on Saturday. But thank you for your time today. Roll Tide.
All right, you take it easy, man. Thank you again. I'll see you Saturday.
Such a fun conversation with Alabama legend Marcell Dareus. He's going to be at the game coming up on Saturday, but where will you be on game day? Be a part of the action with a premium reserve tailgate from Game Day Done Right. Get your group together, pick your game and tailgate package, add on catering, beverages, and other tailgating amenities, and let Game Day Done Right take it from there. Enjoy all the fun of game day with zero stress. Visit GameDayDoneRight.com to reserve your tailgate today. For your next tailgate, just add people. Again, Game Day Done Right is the exclusive provider of reserved tailgating opportunities for the University of Alabama and offers packages for all group sizes for a single game or for the entire season. As we continue on Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, I got to remind you once again, we are getting set for an Alabama home game at Bryant-Denny Stadium, and something very exclusive to home games this season and to Bryant-Denny Stadium, these vintage Alabama Yeti Cups. These white cups were very, very popular. A lot of fans buying as many as they could get this past Saturday against Middle Tennessee, but an outstanding Yeti Cup, and you get a free non-alcoholic beverage when you purchase this cup for only $45, and again, it's just a tremendous keepsake. It's got the Vault A logo, that vintage logo with Roll Tide written on the banner at the bottom. Perfect for the office, perfect for home, perfect for really commuting back and forth. This is the cup to have. And again, the only place you can buy it this season is at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Again, $45. And with that, you get a free non-alcoholic beverage of your choice. So just keep that in mind as you get set for Alabama against Texas. Each and every week, the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Nick Saban, meets with the media on Mondays at noon to have his weekly press conference and really set the table for what's coming up so far this week. And yesterday it was Coach Saban meeting with the media. We took some of the best sound bites from yesterday for Coach's Checklist.
Just in review of the last game, players played hard in the game, competed well in the game. I thought we played, more physical, executed fairly well for the most part. But as in all first games, there's a lot of opportunity to correct things that we didn't get quite right, and I think that it shows a lot in terms of how a team is approaching the season and how much you improve from the first game to the second game. And so the players having the right mindset relative to the challenges that we have internally on our team to get better is important to being able to get those things fixed. You know, I think that games like this are something that players certainly look forward to. You know, it's great that Jalen got recognized as the SEC Offensive Player of the Week and Caleb the Freshman of the Week. And, but, you know, both of those players who played well and obviously got recognized for it, you know, also have to continue to, you know, look at the things that they did well and build on those things. And hopefully that confidence, you know, helps them in the future. But also stay focused on doing the things that they need to do to improve in terms of their consistency in performance and execution. And I don't think there's anybody on our team who doesn't have something that they could actually improve on relative to their performance last week. So, you know, Texas, you know, I think everybody knows Sark is a really good coach. They've got a really good team. They've got a veteran team returning with, you know, 10 starters on offense, 6 on defense. Really good skilled players on offense, really good quarterback, can throw the ball effectively. They make a lot of explosive plays. You know, Worthy's an outstanding receiver. They've got good running backs. They got a really good tight end. They're very good on defense. They play really good up front. They're physical. They played extremely well in the first game. And they were excellent on special teams. So this is a really good team all the way around. And it's going to be an opportunity for our team to sort of, you know, where are we as a team? Where are you as a player? You're going to play against a really good player. And, you know, that usually says, you know, where am I as a player? And this is going to be a good barometer for us to find out, you know, where are we as a team? And so we're going to focus on doing a great job of trying to get our guys to prepare to, you know, play a great game and do a good job in terms of execution. I know it'll be an exciting game from a, you know, fans' perspective, and we love that atmosphere and environment that they create. But I think one of the things that's really important for players is, can you stay focused on, you know, what you need to do and not get affected by, you know, a lot of the external factors. Well, I think, you know, you're always looking at what a team does technically, and it's always most interesting to see, you know, what was their philosophy of what they did technically to, whether it was play defense against you or attack you offensively, or what they did on special teams. So I think you use that information as a history of maybe what you might see again, and other things that they did periodically, you know, that changed. So I don't think you look back on the game from a psychological standpoint as much as you do a technical standpoint. Well, I think that one of the reasons that we did, you know, games away from home, whatever, what did you refer to them as? Neutral site games, okay, neutral site games, good way to term them, was from a scheduling standpoint, it was a way to get a quality opponent on the schedule early on, which I thought had a lot of benefit in terms of your team developing in the offseason, looking forward to that game. Probably the Clemson game that we had, or was that the second year we were here, probably did as much to sort of ignite the program in a way. But then after you do that for a while and you start having success and fans are going to playoff games and bowl games and different things, they don't have the same significance. And then to have more quality home games for the fans to see becomes a little bit more, I think, important. And I think that's kind of, in a nutshell, sort of why we transitioned back to this. Not to say that if we had an opportunity to play in a game somewhere in the future, we would. But I think that changes also with, you know, conference realignment and what could happen in the future with, you know, how many conference games you might be playing. So there's a lot of factors that go into it.
Crimson Drive is driven by NASCAR, and the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs are coming to Talladega this fall. Don't miss your chance to see epic playoff racing as drivers continue their hunt for a championship. Purchase your tickets today for the Yellowwood 500 on October 1st at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. As we continue on Crimson Drive driven by NASCAR, we take a look back to last night. We always have a Monday night show during the football season called Crimson Tide Rewind. It's sponsored by the Alabama Department of Public Health. We do the show live at Baumhower's Victory Grill, not here in Tuscaloosa, but rather in the Birmingham area in Vestavia Hills. And we always have a great crowd on hand. Shout out to the Highlighters and also the Carabins who made their way to Baumhower's last night in Vestavia Hills. Certainly a fun atmosphere. Corey Reamer is the co-host along with me, and we always have a great time just catching up on the previous game, looking ahead to the next ball game. And each and every Tuesday edition of Crimson Drive, we'll take a look back at some of the best moments from Crimson Tide Rewind with a little feature we like to call Be Kind, Crimson Tide Rewind. Corey, Crimson Tide football is back in a big way with a 56-7 win over Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, it was a great way to get off the season started. It's exciting. It's finally been here. We had to wait through week 0, watch some of this other football get going, but it was great to be in Tuscaloosa, get this season kicked off, and I thought they showed up. It was great to see Jalen Milroe coming out as a starter. A lot of question marks going in through the offseason of who's going to earn that starting quarterback position. Eventually ends up being Milroe, and I can say that he played extremely well. I was impressed by his poise throughout the game, and then everybody else. We had a lot of talent to replace on both sides of the ball from last season, but both sides of the ball played extremely well. Of course, this was Middle Tennessee, and it was the first game of the season. You knew it wasn't going to be a very complex scheme, not a lot of not opening up the entire playbook for this first game, especially when you got somebody like Texas rolling in week 2. But overall, I was impressed. I thought we did a lot of things well. I thought that we didn't go out there and make a lot of mistakes. We looked efficient. Not a lot of just mental errors that, it's the first game. Everybody's a little rusty. You've been going through camp. Everybody's had 2-a-days. A lot of time against yourselves. You don't know how everybody's going to look coming out the gate in that first game, and I thought they looked pretty polished for the first one.
Yeah, Coach Saban has talked about he liked the competitive nature of this team all throughout preseason camp and leading up to the first game. Do you feel like we got a sense of that with what we saw in those 60 minutes?
Yeah, I think that was, when you have a guy like Bryce Young and Will Anderson on your team, going into the season, everybody had high expectations just because of those two guys. And this team was really trying to establish the identity of what they're going to be, and they heard, and whether they want to admit it or not, they heard a lot of the rumblings from last season's team of not getting off the field on important down and distance situations on the defensive side of the ball, and then not being very aggressive up front from an offensive line standpoint. When you need a 3rd and 1 or a 4th and 1 or 3rd and short, we weren't getting those last year. So there were a lot of challenges from the fan base and from this coaching staff, and these players heard it, and they were taking it personal throughout the offseason. You heard a lot of the guys, Tyler Booker being one of them, saying, we're going to bring back the identity of the offensive line that we've had in years past at Alabama, and I think they're rising up to the challenge. And this is not just a one-game scenario. Hopefully this is something that lasts throughout the game. I thought Saturday they really showcased that they're here to make amends for some of the shortcomings that they had last year.
Alabama limited Middle Tennessee to only 211 yards of total offense, so 1 touchdown for the Blue Raiders, but at that point, Alabama had built up a very large lead overall. A strong start by the defense.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought there was some moments in the game where you definitely could tell that there was some busted assignments, but that's to be expected with the first game. I thought they played extremely well. We were all looking forward to seeing specifically that linebacker unit. When you got Dallas Turner and Chris Braswell out there, you know what you're going to get from those guys. But Deontay Lawson in the middle, and then Tresman Marshall, the transfer from Georgia, coming in and really playing a pivotal role for us when we're kind of thin at that linebacker position. And I think there's a significant drop-off once you get past those first 1 or 2 in the depth chart, especially at that middle position. But overall, I thought they played pretty well. Really encouraged by Deontay Lawson. During camp, he was the guy that really took leadership of this defense. You could go down and watch practice, and you could hear him keeping everybody up to the standard, running off the field, getting onto players when they weren't hustling, going out there, and if guys were missing assignments, he was getting onto them. That vocal leader that we had to replace. We had Henry To'oTo'o last year, kind of fell into that role as the play caller, and then you had a few other guys, but we really were missing that piece coming in this season. You were wondering who it was going to be. Will Anderson was more of a guy that turned into a vocal leader, but he was more of a go out there and just play hard and hope everybody kept up to his level, his energy level. But I thought Deontay Lawson looked good. He's flying all over the place. You can put him in a lot of different positions, on the edge, in the middle. He can cover, and he's got speed from sideline to sideline. And secondary, I thought looked really good. The other question mark was Terrion Arnold. We saw a few games last year where he got picked on a little bit. You know, you got Kool-Aid McKinstry on the other side, obviously locking him down with one-on-one. Not many people were going to try to throw at Kool-Aid. Terrion was the guy that they were really trying to attack. And first game of the first play of the game from Middle Tennessee's offense, they tried to utilize that, tried to go after Terrion. He made a great play, and hopefully he continued that level going throughout the season.
Also really impressive, the debut of Alabama freshman safety Caleb Downs as he led the Crimson Tide in tackles, a game-high 8 tackles for Alabama, and no surprise we see the SEC honor him as the co-freshman of the week.
Yeah, and that's good to see, because a guy coming into this season, as hyped as he was, a lot of comparisons between him and Minkah Fitzpatrick. Is he the second coming of Minkah? And we all know what Minkah did at Alabama. That's some high praise and a very high bar to set for a freshman coming in. You worry that moment might be too big for somebody like that, but he's lived up to it, led the team in tackles, but not just – it wasn't like he was making tackles, as running backs were breaking downfield at the safety position. He was coming up and having tackles for losses. And you could tell this guy's got a high IQ, which I think is really the main thing that draws the comparison between him and Minkah Fitzpatrick, because Minkah was just that cerebral guy. He knew where to be. He kind of anticipated where the ball was going, and he could come and play downhill and play fast. And for a freshman in this system, with as complicated as this defense is, to pick it up from January to now, to be a starter and have the confidence that he knows what he's supposed to be doing, says a lot about him. He studies a lot. He watches a lot of tape. He asks a lot of questions. You can just tell the little interactions that I have, he means business. And you can tell he's got a goal in mind of playing at the next level, and he takes this as a job very seriously, and it shows in his play.
And that was the best of Crimson Tide Rewind from this past Monday night. Hope you can join us coming up next week at Baumhower's. And if you can't make it to Vestavia Hills for the show, of course, we have it across the entire radio network and also streaming live on our YouTube and Facebook channels as well. It's time to take a look at what's coming up across the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Our weekend update, always brought to you by Wickles Pickles. They are wickedly delicious. We have the pickle chips. We have the relish. So many great options with Wickles Pickles. Find out more at WicklesPickles.com. Let's take a look at this week's Wickles Weekend Update. Well, we will be back coming up on Thursday with another edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, streaming live at 2 p.m. Thursday, very busy, of course. We'll also have Tide TV this week, and Hey Coach and the Nick Saban Show at 6:30 from Baumhower's in Tuscaloosa. Eli Gold will be hosting, and he'll be along as well on Thursday's edition of Crimson Drive, along with Greg McElroy and Craig Way, the voice of the Texas Longhorns. But Hey Coach, again, coming up on Thursday night. Special media guest is going to be Holly Rowe from ESPN, along with Coach Saban and Eli at the restaurant. We'll have our Friday game preview. The Texas game preview will be on our Instagram page coming up, getting you set for Alabama against Texas. And then on Saturday, the main event. It's the All-State Crossbar Classic, Alabama against Texas, under the lights with a kickoff at 6 p.m. at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Our coverage across the radio network starting at 3, and there's so much to do on campus that day, especially at Champions Lane, just outside the north end zone entrance near the Walk of Champions and the Tuska statue. That is going to be the place to be. We're going to talk more about that coming up on Thursday's Crimson Drive. Sunday, we'll take a look back at what is hopefully a Crimson Tide victory by having the Nick Saban television show hosted by Chris Stewart. Coach Saban will be along for that. And then on Monday, what you just saw, Crimson Tide Rewind, 6 p.m. at Baumhower's in Vestavia Hills. Look forward to teaming up with Corey Reamer for that show. Again, that's what's coming up here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network with our Wickles Weekend Update, again brought to you by Wickles Pickles. It's going to wrap up a very busy edition, a Tuesday edition of Crimson Drive driven by NASCAR. But again, we'll be back in 2 days with a full preview of Alabama and Texas coming up right back here on the CTSN social media platforms. Thank you to our guest today, the Offensive Player of the Week in the Southeastern Conference, Jalen Milroe, along with Crimson Tide legend Marcell Dareus, and then enjoy the booth cam highlights, Corey Reamer from last night, as well as comments from Coach Saban. Thank you to Ethan Carabin, our video producer, putting this show together, and thanks to all of you for watching. For all of us with the Crimson Tide Sports Network, this is Roger Hoover again saying thank you for watching Crimson Drive driven by NASCAR. It's only Tuesday, but it really feels like we're about set to kick off Alabama and Texas coming up on Saturday. Till Thursday's Crimson Drive driven by NASCAR. Have a safe rest of your week. Roll Tide, everyone.